Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Hometown Heroes. I'm Mike Kenichi, and today's program is actually going to be two parts, so that's going to be a lot of fun. One is to help Connecticut residents cut their expenses, especially those in lower income brackets, by using federal and state programs. This first part will spotlight TEAM, a nonprofit human services organization located on 30 Elizabeth Street in Derby. At the end of the program, a listing of similar organizations in other parts of Connecticut will be noted. At this time, I would like to introduce our guests from TEAM. We have Lillian McKenzie. She is the Development and Communications Manager. Lillian, thank you for coming on today. We have Jillian Ruisi, Director of Support Services. Lillian, Jillian, thank you for coming on today. And we have the new kid in town, Margaret Vies, Elderly Services Coordinator. And Margaret, thank you for coming on as well.
Thank you.
So Margaret, I'll start with you because you are the new kid in town, like I said. Before TEAM, what did you do prior to that?
I did admissions for a nursing home. I was admissions director.
Oh, nice. And how's the experience thus far been at TEAM for you? I mean, how long have you been there?
Been there a couple months, almost 3. It's been great. We have a great team, and at the end of the day, we get the work done. And I feel really great when I go home because I know I helped someone.
Right. And Lillian, I think you have 3 years experience
That's right,
now.
yep.
So just talk about your time, because 3 years doesn't seem a long time, but when you're working every day, 365 days a year, it really is a long time. So just talk about how it's been for you.
Yeah, it's been great. A lot of different experiences, and every day is different. As a development communications manager, I work on fundraisers for TEAM, as well as our communications out in the world, social media, interviews like this. So we appreciate the opportunity. So
it's interesting you mentioned social media, because social media has been a big platform, and I'm sure as years have went by, that's helped TEAM a lot, getting the word out there, because you have so much creativity now with social media to kind of get your message out there. So how important has social media been to this program?
yeah, it's been great. We've continued to put messages out on different social media platforms, even got a LinkedIn page so we can connect with area businesses as well. But it's just another great way to get our message out there, and very quickly. We can post multiple times a day, different updates from around all our programs.
Right. And Jillian, obviously you're the veteran of the group, and you have 5 years now at TEAM.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've been here a long time now. I mean, you've put in obviously a lot of years. Talk about how invaluable working for TEAM has been for you.
Yes, so thank you for having us today. So I am the director. I oversee many of the support services programs at TEAM. I'll go into more later, but the Energy Assistance Program, Elderly Services, Casework, and we just holistically assess how we can help households and individuals and families, especially from low-income communities, how we can help bring them more stability economically in their households.
Right.
So it's been very rewarding to see the change in the benefits and the different resources that we're able to offer.
Right. And Jillian, I would think jobs like TEAM and so many of these great organizations, it's not always an 8-hour day. Sometimes it's a 12-hour day. Sometimes it's a 16-hour day. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's not, you have to sacrifice a lot, but I'm sure that it doesn't bother you because you really are passionate about what you do.
Absolutely. I mean, we do community events and on the weekends, and I mean, there's all different kinds of community events that Lillian actually leads that our staff are part of, and it's just really rewarding to be out in the community, meeting residents, especially again from low-income communities, and being part of the communities. Between toys for kids and bringing Easter baskets today to Meals on Wheels clients, it's very rewarding to be part of our residents.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think for all three of you, being able to make a difference every day, do something that you feel is rewarding and productive, that just makes you feel good about when you leave. Because again, it is long hours sometimes. Like anything else, you're going to get tired at times, but when you go home, you feel like you've accomplished a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wouldn't have it any other way. It's
Yeah.
really rewarding to have a career when you like you said, when you go home at the end of the day and you know you've made a positive impact on somebody's life.
Exactly. And one of the toughest parts about doing programs like these is making sure that you don't go over your budget. A budget is very important. So let me ask you, what was your budget for this year and how is it financed?
Yeah, our budget is about $24 million, which
Wow.
sounds like a very, very large number. A lot of it is federal funding. We get some state funding and some local municipality funding as well. But as we'll talk a little bit more about our programs, a lot of them are federal programs, so those grants come directly down to us. And we also rely on community fundraising, grassroots fundraisers. That's to make sure that we don't have to create wait lists or turn everybody away. We want to make sure we can serve everybody who comes to us. And so
Right.
those grassroots fundraisers are very important to make sure we can, fill the holes.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, Margaret, is you really have to go out there, like, again, you have to be seen, you have to be able to explain what you're trying to do, because at the end of the day, if somebody just sees something in writing, they're going to have a lot of questions. They want to know what's the outcome, what is the mission statement, things like that. So how important is it to go out there and, kind of explain to people what you're trying to do?
Yeah, so we get out into the senior centers and we get our information out there. I sometimes will go individually from table to table and try to, explain our services to each and every one of them so that they all understand. I'll also ask if they've ever heard of us. A lot of them haven't. So, we're there for them, and I let them know that, we're there from Monday to Friday, and if they need anything from us, we are available.
And Jillian, I would think that when you're out there like that, you want as many questions as possible. I know, like, a lot of times you never know what kind of questions somebody's going to ask, but you really encourage people to ask as many questions because you want to get a feel of, you're explaining to them what you're trying to do, and you want them to have not just concerns, but what is the message and things like that. So it's very important for people to ask questions.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many available resources and services within each of the programs that are driven by eligibility requirements and town requirements. So we really do want individuals to call team, and we do a holistic assessment so that we can identify all the variety of different resources that we can provide to a family, from childcare to elderly to home heating assistance. There's just such a variety of different ways we can support families.
And the thing with TEAM is it's been around for a long time, and it's not just this program, it does so many different things.
But we do have a program we call Gaining Access to Independence Now, GAIN,
Yes.
Which Jillian leads.
So you do have to be over 18, but we have
Right.
helped many individuals and households secure certifications through training programs that are offered by Griffin Hospital, or there's a new training program we partnered with in Shelton called Quick Draw. All-State Driving School, we've helped people go on to get their CDLs. So yes, individuals 18 and older who are lower income seeking certification in a variety of different programs, they can work closely with our caseworkers to really carve a different career path that economically can change their futures.
And I think that's just a great thing that TEAM does because, again, I mean, it's helping so many people. It gives people so many options, different things they could do. CDL license is a perfect example. You're always going to need like people with the big trucks, the big company vans, things like that, and it gives them a job. I mean, it's really
Absolutely.
something that is great that TEAM does.
And sometimes the training can be a barrier for people. They just can't afford the $600, $1,600, training fee to go through a program to get the certification. So they feel stuck. But when they come to TEAM and they apply for the GAIN program, we can pay for that certification. So that eliminates the barrier and gives them the opportunity to go on to that higher paying job. It just opens up a whole new world for them.
And just
Yeah.
to stick with that, our caseworkers are assessing all of the barriers to attendance. So that might be childcare, that might be transportation. Again, financially, they're really trying to figure out, what's blocking you from doing this on your own, and really supportive in the process to make sure they get to completion. And it's life-changing. CDL, that is definitely one of the higher income earning opportunities through certification. So that's a great idea.
Exactly. And Jillian, I thought about this as we were talking a little bit. You must have came right at the time when COVID hit. And I got to say, like, that had to be very challenging because you couldn't be at work.
Yes.
It's hard to fundraise, obviously, when everything is shut down. So your first year at Team, while it was probably a great experience, it was challenging as well. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, Team never shut down. I came in June of 2020 in the height of the pandemic. We were meeting with funders and program leaders within Zoom, but our customers still came to Team. We still had individuals who are elderly or homeless or people facing eviction. They still came, so our caseworkers still needed to prepare themselves to meet individuals in need. But yes, we lived in boxes on Zoom screens most of 2020, all the way through 23. Probably.
But I look at it this way, Jillian, if you could get through that, because it was a difficult year and you had to adjust, you had to do different things outside the box because you were limited at the time. The fact that you were able to do that, if you could get through a year like that, you could get through anything.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So Lillian, let me ask you this. If I'm correct, the fundraising event is called Men Who Cook.
That's right.
Talk about that and how it's impacted so many.
Yeah, this is our 17th year. We actually took a pause during the pandemic, but we brought the event back. Essentially, we go to Warsaw Park in Ansonia. We've got about 35 volunteer chefs cooking up their signature dish. So it's all-you-can-eat food. We get some local craft beers donated. So there's drinks as well, raffles. Chaz from Chaz and AJ is our MC. Yeah. But it's all in support of Team's programs, everything that we're talking about today. We serve over 16,000 individuals every year. And so the success of this fundraiser, this is our one shot every year to have a successful event and make sure our programs stay whole. And we've got some awesome sponsors this year. Liberty Bank, Newtown Savings Bank, and Haynes have been very generous to help make this a successful year.
I think about this, you just brought up Chaz and AJ.
Yeah.
They do a lot for the community. They are always open to coming out if you need them to come and MC something. They always are accessible. They always go out of their way to do it. And I think that's so cool because really, they're a big time radio show and yet they will always do whatever they can for the community.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And that says a lot about both of them as well.
Yeah, they go above and beyond. Chaz, the program you were talking about earlier, he often credits Team of where he got his start in radio when he was a teenager. But they also do this massive toy drive every year, and we've been lucky enough to be one of the beneficiaries of that as well. So they really go above and beyond, not just for Team, but for many organizations in the community.
Right. And Lillian, Team serves a variety of towns.
Yeah.
Talk about the towns that your organization serves.
Yeah, so we're a community action agency. We're one of 9 across the state. So we have a very specific region, the Core Valley, up and down the Route 8 corridor. So try to do all our towns in alphabetical order. Ansonia, Beacon Falls, Bethany, Derby, Milford, Orange, Oxford, Seymour, Shelton, Woodbridge. So residents from any of those towns can reach out to us and see if they're eligible for any of the programs that we provide.
Yeah, and the thing of it is, you could kind of all answer this, is that you're helping a big community. You really are, and you're helping a lot of people. And I mean, the opportunities that so many are getting through programs like Team, that's what makes it such a successful organization, because it gives so many people, like I said, opportunities to do things that maybe they wouldn't be able to do without programs like Team. So I think that's that's where Team, that's where their legacy is they are giving people opportunities every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, written right there in our mission statement is making sure that we're strengthening our communities by, helping provide education support and lifting those opportunities so people can get to a chapter in their life where they're not just surviving, but they're thriving and they're happy.
across the lifespan, from childcare to many services for younger individuals, but economically helping people to find jobs, and then also elderly programs that we offer, so across the lifespan.
Yeah. And I think the name is perfect, team, because it really does take a team. I mean, you're never going to do it alone. If you try doing it alone, you're just going to get overwhelmed. So, I mean, when you have a group of dedicated and committed individuals and you all work as a team, it just makes things a lot easier because, like I said, there are days where it's going to be exhausting, but when you have your support system, that really helps in the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we've got just incredible coworkers who, again, go above and beyond for each other, all these different departments and programs communicating effectively to make sure we're holistically serving our clients. Yeah.
Right. So Lillian, let's start with the children's programs.
Sure.
What does TEAM do for this group? What, if any, is the cost and ages covered?
Yeah, so we are a grantee of the federal Head Start child care program. So we're serving infants from age 6 weeks up to age 5, right before they enter kindergarten in the public school system. And they can come to any of our child care sites in Ansonia, Shelton, Milford. We've got classrooms. There's a variety of different eligibility requirements, but it's very, very low cost, sliding scale, but we are looking at income and other family circumstances to determine eligibility. But it's full day, full year childcare. There's no pause in the summer. It really gives the opportunity for parents to go get a full-time job, and they don't have to worry about childcare. They know their child is in a very safe and holistic learning environment.
Right. And how satisfying has a program like that been? Because again, you just said it. Parents are able to go out and get full-time jobs. They know that their kids are safe and they're in a good program where they're gonna, have great things to do and things like that. So how satisfying is it for all of you?
Yeah, we love the child care program and really seeing families thrive because they have that child care. They can go out and pursue education and training or a job. And then we're also, we have a family support specialist, a caseworker working with families to make sure that all of the aspects of their life are on a positive trajectory. So we're helping them address any issues they might have with housing or food because we want to make sure the entire family is thriving as we're taking care of the kids in the child care program too.
And you mentioned family. I think in a lot of ways you become like an extension of their families because you are helping them and they appreciate it. And again, that's the biggest thing about in any type of life is, it's hard to do it alone sometimes. So when you have organizations such as TEAM helping these families, I mean, I think, it's almost automatic that you become an extension of their family.
Yeah, it's awesome to see the kids come into the classroom every day and they're super excited to be there. And, we're helping them with those developmental milestones and it's really exciting to be working with the parents and really, just keeping the best interests of the child at heart. And we do think that we have really positive relationships with all the families that we work with.
Right. Yeah. So Jillian, for adults, including families, you have a long list of programs. Could you explain what they are and if age and income comes into play for each of them?
Yes, so there is a variety of different programs that TEAM offers, and almost all of our programs are restricted by certain eligibility criteria. But so for the Energy Assistance Program, for instance, households can range between a single household being eligible at $45,000 to a household of say 8 being eligible up to about $120,000. But the Energy Assistance Program helps people with their heating costs for their primary heating source, which could be oil, gas, electric, propane, kerosene, wood pellets, things like that. And a worker at the office is going to contact them, go over their heating system and their heating source, and find ways that they can benefit by lowering their utility costs. So that's just one program. But our caseworkers, they are assessing households in a variety of different ways that they might be eligible for something. That might be your food, food through SNAP, cash assistance to help them obtain another income source, Social Security. They're really holistically finding different ways based on a household's income at that time, ways to economically move them forward or make them more sustainable at that time. And then so our elderly programs are actually all of our elderly programs are funded through the Agency on Aging South Central. The money streams from the federal government down to the states and is allocated to us through the Agency on Aging. But they are not income driven. They are age eligible. So seniors do need to be 60 to get any of these services through our elderly programs.
And correct me if I'm wrong, and if I am, I do apologize, but a lot of this stuff comes from grants, am I correct?
Almost
And
all of it,
one of
yes.
the toughest things, it's important that it's done right, but you have to write a lot of grants to get these.
Yes.
So talk about that, because I mean, you really have to lay it all out there and explain what you're trying to do, because the person, the organizations that give the grants, they want to see, well, okay, well, what's your plan for A? What's your plan for B, C, D, et cetera? So talk about that a little bit.
I'll actually use elderly programs for an example. We're currently in the process, they're due next week, of writing these grants for all, I think it's 6 programs for elderly, that we basically are talking about the success that we've had historically over the last year in meeting customers' needs and seeking those dollars to return so that we can continue to sustain the program. So that's just kind of the process of writing a grant, is to look back and really talk about the good work that team does in meeting the needs of seniors.
Right. And Margaret, it's my understanding that you handle a lot of programs as well. So talk about some of the programs that you're responsible for.
Sure. So we have our Meals on Wheels program, which currently we are serving over 240 plus seniors in the community. And these are seniors that are 60 and above. With that, we also have our drivers who do a safety check, wellness check, when they arrive at the door, just to make sure that they're doing okay. Alongside that, we have our congregate meals, which is Callahan House. We have Derby Senior Center and Griffin Hospital. Residents will call up and sign an application with us. We'll do the application, and then we'll sign them up. And the day before, they'll have to call us and let us know that they want to go to Griffin Hospital for a meal, and they'll be able to go the next day.
Yeah. And to access these programs, Margaret, does a person have to be a citizen? How does that work?
I believe they do have to be a citizen. Jillian, you can speak a little more on that.
Yeah. So for elderly programs, they do have to be a citizen. They need a Social Security number through our elderly programs there. But there's a variety, again, across the spectrum of services that we provide that don't have to be a citizen. So it really depends on the program in which they're applying for. But we do connect with households that are not citizens to basically refer and provide them resources, connect them to organizations that can provide them better services.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Margaret, the Meals on Wheels is another great program. And again, I mean, you're providing so many things for so many people. And again, that's a lot of work that goes into it. But it almost seems like you, Jillian, Lillian, you all do it so effortlessly. So just talk about the work that has to go into making sure that all of this stuff is successful.
Well, I generally have a meeting with our drivers every morning just to make sure that everyone's on board as far as the meals, and we have specialized meals as well, making sure that those are included and that they're delivering those meals correctly to each of the homes that they're going to daily.
Yeah. So the last program will greatly affect your income if you are over 65, blind, or disabled, and fall within certain income guidelines. It's called the Connecticut Medicare Savings Program. There are 3 levels of income to be considered. Also, other states have different rules. Would you please, Jillian, it could be Jillian, Margaret, kind of talk about the benefits of each level for Connecticut?
So the Medicare Savings Program is just another program opportunity, a benefit that our caseworkers are going to assess seniors seeking services through TEAM. You do have to be a qualified Medicare beneficiary, but there are 3 different levels depending on your household income that can help you save on your premium A and B, and your deductibles through Medicare. So I think the highest level is about $4,300 for a married couple and about $3,200 for a single. So this is just helping you put more money back in your pocket and to not have to pay out those premium, A and B, and the deductible costs for Medicare. But this is an application that while assessing a senior, we might be connecting them to other resources and then offering to assist them in the Medicare Savings Program application process.
And now, what kind of income is considered? I mean, do you have to include assets as well?
There are no asset limits
Right.
for the Medicare Savings Program.
Right. Basically, all three of you, I mean, these causes are so, like I said, invaluable. Don't want to sound like a broken record, but I mean, the different opportunities, like I said, that these people have is just, it's so gratifying, I'm sure, for them. And I mean, it must make you feel good when you see the relief that comes with it from them and how it makes them smile and things like that. Because again, at the end of the day, it doesn't seem like anybody in your organization is just looking to collect a paycheck. You go above and beyond, and again, you don't do 40 hours a week. Sometimes you do 50, sometimes you do 60. So seeing everything that goes into it and seeing the end result has got to make it the most gratifying.
Yeah, thank you, Mike, for saying that, and again for having us on here. We just really appreciate the opportunity to get in front of an audience and share a little bit more about our programs. We're constantly trying to raise awareness that TEAM is here, TEAM exists, TEAM is here to help you. So please give us a call if you're interested in any of these programs. Even the senior programs that we dove into a little bit today, the Griffin Cafe meals, it's a hugely popular one. I don't know if you've eaten at Griffin Cafe, but
Yeah.
the food is great, and it's just a great way to socialize and connect with one another. So we're really passionate about these programs because we've seen, like you said, the impact they can make on people and just lift a weight off of their shoulders, whether it's, a social connection program or, helping them financially in a significant way, can just help people breathe a little bit easier.
Exactly.
I think TEAM is outcome oriented, right? So we're focusing on impact, and when we're able to see that we've helped somebody to become housing secure, remove a food insecurity barrier, economically move up the ladder in such a way, or even gain socialization through programs like Lillian was just talking about, those are the wins for us. Even though sometimes it feels like it's very hard to get a family down this trajectory. Sometimes it takes longer than others, but we're really focused on making that impact.
And Margaret, I would think even though you've only been there a couple months, what you've seen so far and what you've been doing, I mean, you have to really be, I don't want to say thankful, but very proud that you've been a part of this organization and seeing the great things that are happening and working with great team members that are there to support you, help you, and work with you. That's got to make it all worth it.
It's wonderful. I have a great team down to Jillian. She's very supportive. The whole team. It's. I can't even say how many words I could say how to express how I feel about the team that I work with. They're wonderful.
Right. And Lillian, you now have 3 years here. So again, you've put in a good amount of time. You've seen where you want this to go and how it's progressing. So just talk about how impactful has this been for you, just as not just as a worker, but as a human being?
Yeah, it's been a really, really special opportunity, and I get such an awesome vantage point from the organization because I get to work with all the different departments from childcare to seniors, and I have the best day when I get to interact with our clients and go have dinner at the Griffin Cafe with them or go into the school and hang out with the kids and read or do a little dance or art project or something. And really the connection with the volunteers who are giving their time because they care about TEAM too. And I've just made some incredible friends with volunteers as well. So my whole 3+ years here has been super rewarding.
And I would think the interaction is very important because you're putting all this work in, you're putting everything in motion to make it succeed. So you wouldn't want to just be in the building all the time. You want to be out there.
Yeah,
you want to be out there seeing how everything's going, seeing the results and what they look like. So I would think the interaction is probably the most fun for all of you.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely the most fun and most rewarding. And, we were talking about social media, taking snapshots of our work and being able to share that with the community so they can see team in action.
Absolutely, yeah. I think about, like I said before, just this morning, watching Easter baskets roll out to Meals on Wheels, trucks that are being loaded, and we're not there to see it, but the drivers are going to hand those Easter baskets off to seniors who are going to be just so, pleased by that delivery today. So it's just little things like that that make you feel part of the community. And
And what social media platforms do you have where people could go see? I mean, what are you on Facebook, obviously?
Yep, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Right, which are the three most popular and very important that you have those platforms.
Yep.
Jillian, 5 years now, again, you saw the challenging times in the beginning, but when you see everything that is transpiring here and you see, like I said, what the end result is, what does it make you feel as not just a worker, but as a person?
Team just does such a variety of different things. Not one day looks like the next. There's no redundancy. There's just a lot of need, and it feels overwhelming at times, but it's beautiful to see when we're able to help a family through whatever situation that is, and it comes to us differently every single day. But it's been a beautiful 5-year ride just to watch my caseworkers remove barriers for households, like I said before, economically move them into a more stable situation, house an individual, help somebody who's been homeless for a significant time be able to no longer be homeless and secure housing, or a senior, just coming onto the program and gaining other different resources. Adult incontinence is another program what we do. So just meeting people's needs every day is just such a rewarding thing. And, I just try not to get lost in the crisis that we sometimes face. I try to see the positive at the end of the day, the rewards that we were able to be part of.
And obviously you're not going to know everybody by name or by face, but just understanding and realizing that they are impacted by what your program does. That makes it all worth it. And you don't have to know everybody, but you feel like you know everybody because you're putting all that work in. So that in itself, again, has to be so beneficial to all of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank the three of you for coming on today. It was a real honor for me. I think what you're doing with this organization and how you're helping so many families is just wonderful. And I really applaud you for the work that all three of you do.
Thank you.
Your organization, your team, everything like that. So thank you three for coming on today. I really appreciate
Thank you.
it.
It's a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
And of course, folks, that was Lillian McKenzie, Jillian Ruizi, and Margaret of Bees. And folks, I just want to say this, that people don't really understand the impact that these organizations have, because at the end of the day, they don't do it for credit. They don't do it for recognition. They do it because they love it. They do it because they're passionate about it, and it makes them feel good to know that they could do something to help families, individuals, whatever the case may be. They understand that the importance of their program is to make lives better for people and their families. When you think about these three remarkable and amazing young women, you have to think about their work ethic, their dedication, their commitment, everything that goes into it. Because like I said earlier, they don't put in 40-hour weeks. They put in a lot of hours. But guess what? They don't complain. They never are sorry about doing this. They don't regret it. They love it, and they love it because helping people is the most important thing. For Hometown Heroes, I'm Mike Kenichi saying good night, everyone.